Yo, what's good, man? It's your boy Dre. So I'm sitting at work right now. You know what I mean? I'm just chilling in my whip. Ain't too much going on. And I'm just sitting here thinking, and just like, yo, why black people hate on other black people who move primarily to like Atlanta and Charlotte? You know what I mean? I never understood that shit. You know, like I live in Buffalo, New York, right? And compared to most cities, man, Buffalo's not. It's not a lot of opportunity here. You know what I mean? Not a lot of thriving blacks. You know what I mean? Whereas your cities like Atlanta or Charlotte or DC and Maryland, these are prominent areas where blacks are thriving. You know what I mean? Where everybody that look like you know what I mean, is generating some success in some way. You know what I mean? Versus you being part of the minority, in somewhere like Buffalo, Detroit, you know what I mean? Like some of the smaller cities where you are the minority, you can go somewhere south, somewhere bigger in the south and be part of the majority. You know what I mean? And when I say be part of the majority, you know what I mean? You're being part of the majority that is finding a better life, who is taking advantage of better opportunities and becoming more successful than they would have had back in their old home. You know what I mean? So, but you see a lot of hate stats though. You see a lot of hate that be like, stop moving to Atlanta, we packed here. Stop moving to Charlotte, we packed here. Niggas think moving to Atlanta gonna make their life better. Niggas think moving to Charlotte gonna make their life better. You know what I mean? And people laugh and joke about that shit. You know what I mean? But, not realizing that, you know what I mean, when you put your mind to that shit and you realize you want better, you know what I mean, and you didn't kind of exhausted a lot of your opportunities in your smaller hometown or where you from, and then you dip out and you leave and you like, yo, fuck this, I'm gonna go down to Atlanta. You know what I mean? Atlanta is dope. There's mad opportunities out there. You love the atmosphere of the city. You love that Atlanta is Black Hollywood. You know what I mean? So you love it's motivating. You know what I mean? You love going to one of them cities that's motivating, where you're seeing black niggas or black people just in general. You know what I mean? We seen just everybody. They driving Mercedes, they driving Beamers, they driving foreigns, Lexus, whatever you want to call it, or they have multiple cars. You know what I mean? Or you looking at the apartments that they posting on Facebook and you know what I mean, like, damn, they apartment nice as hell. You know what I mean? Or you looking at their house and like, damn, they house nice as hell. You looking at the housing market, you seeing how much house you getting for $200,000-$300,000 compared to the housing market that you getting back home, in these northern cities for $200,000-$300,000. You know what I mean? And you like, damn, I wish we had that. You know what I mean? But then soon as one of your friends, as soon as somebody make the decision, like, yo, fuck it, I'm out, man, I'm going to Atlanta. And it's just like, niggas always want to move to Atlanta. Niggas always want to move to Atlanta. Niggas think moving to Atlanta gonna do this. Niggas think moving to Atlanta gonna do that. You know what I mean? Niggas think moving to Charlotte gonna do this. Niggas think moving to Charlotte gonna do that. You know what I mean? Not realizing that 8 times out of 10, that person that left and moved out of city, that person that left and moved out like my city, like Buffalo, that leave, you know what I mean, go down south, and if they really, you know what I mean, put the work in, yo, in about 2 to 3 years, listen, they're like double, triple successful that they would have been another 2 or 3 years, back here in Buffalo. You know what I mean? Or just in whatever their home city is, where those opportunities aren't as prevalent. You know what I mean? So it's just like, yo, why are we hating, you know what I mean, because we chose a specific city to go to try to do better in? You know what I mean? Who gives a fuck if 10 million of us decide, yo, we all want to move to fucking Atlanta? Yeah, granted, Atlanta is packed, but yo, if 10 million more black motherfuckers gonna get on and be successful, you know what I mean? Like, you gotta think, like, our community, the black community, granted, we're growing, and we're growing in successful numbers with, more successful people, you know what I mean? But when you still look at, who's running the world, and you look at the numbers, it's just like, we're still low on the totem pole. You know what I mean? So stop hating on motherfuckers because they want to dip out and just choose to go to Atlanta or choose to go to, you know what I mean? They going where the opportunities are. They're going where more people look like them. You know what I mean? So it's just like, yo, let them have that shit, yo. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Maybe it's not for you. Maybe that's not what you want to do. All right, cool. You know what I mean? If you passionate about what you want to do, if you passionate about your home, about things that you want to do in your own community that you were born and raised in, yo, stay home and figure that out. Put that grind in. You know what I mean? Do that. That's not for everybody though. You know what I'm saying? So for the people that it's not for, and they feel like, you know, they can do better, you know, uprooting, you know, and starting over somewhere, you know, and starting over in Atlanta or starting over in Charlotte, yo, do that. You know what I mean? Like, let them do that. You know what I mean? And the funniest shit be, I don't know if you ever noticed that shit though, but the funniest shit be, like, I pay attention to people, yo. Like, you know, I pay attention to my social media, man. I pay attention to, you know, my friends, people who left and, you know what I mean, and want it better. And I pay attention to people who be hating. You know what I mean? I read the statuses, you know what I'm saying? I see the people who be hating and shit, and I just be like, all right, I see you, you know what I mean? And I'm patient enough to sit back and watch because I remember shit. 2 years go by, you know what I mean? You see that person that left and dipped out and went to Atlanta or Charlotte, you know what I mean? Next thing you know, they posted a picture, you know what I mean, in front of their house, you know, they 2-car garage crib, you know what I mean, with the soul sign next to their realtor and shit, you know, smiling ear to ear. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, I love it down here in Charlotte. Charlotte's been so great for me over the last 2 years. And then you look back at the person who was, you know, hating, you know, the motherfuckers think they gonna do X, Y, and Z, moving to Atlanta or Charlotte, and they still paying rent in the same fucking apartment to the same goddamn landlord they was paying rent to 2 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Like, that shit be funny as hell. I've noticed that shit plenty of times. You know what I mean? Niggas done dipped out, you know, moved away. A year later, they done upgraded their car. You know what I mean? And you still on Facebook, you know, talking about, yo, somebody recommend me a good mechanic. You know what I mean? Because, you know what I mean, you need some bullshit done to your, you know, 15-year-old vehicle. You know what I mean? So it was just like, yo, stop. Quick question. If older white people, retirees or whomever, older white people who retired or whatever, were as active on social media as, you know, our age bracket, you know what I mean? Like, I'm 32. So, as with our peer group, right? I guarantee you wouldn't see no white people, no older white people, whatever, saying motherfuckers think retiring to Florida is going to help them live a healthier life or give them a better retirement, you know, help them live in retirement better. You know what I mean? Like, you'll never see that shit. You'll never see white people complaining or hating on other white people because of the location they chose to move to. And granted, I mean, we all know the fucking retirement state is what? Florida. Where all white people, you know what I mean, retire to. Florida. How many white people in general, or people do you say in general, hey, people stop, you know what I mean, stop retiring to Florida, we full. Like, you don't see that shit. You don't see that shit coming out of the fucking white community, yo. It's just like, you don't see that shit coming out of any fucking community except for ours, yo. You know what I mean? Fucking Hispanics ain't saying stop moving to our side of town, we full over here. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, that shit don't happen, yo. But black people, we always gotta find a way to just hate on each other and complain and keep each other, you know what I mean, down in some way just because we see somebody making moves, you know what I mean, and we ain't making moves, you know what I mean, so we feel some type of way about it. Like, no, if anything, that shit should motivate you, yo. If you see a motherfucker, you know, uprooting and moving to Atlanta or moving to Charlotte, you know what I mean, and if the fact that they moved and had the thought that they wanted to do better, the thought alone of wanting to do better, just for you to sit up in your bed and say, you know what, I want to do better, fuck this shit, I gotta get out of this city, that right there alone, you know what I mean, is enough to, you know, to spark an idea of motivation to be, you know what I mean, in your brain as well. You know what I mean? So if somebody decides to do that, pay attention to that person. You know what I mean? Like, try to think what they thinking about. You know what? That motherfucker might be right. You know what I'm saying? And then if they move, you know what I mean? Everybody move differently. So if they move, you know what I mean? And if that's somebody you following on social media, stop following them to hate them. But if you follow them to support them because that's your friend, because you know them, whatever reason you following that person, yo, pay attention to that shit. You know what I mean? Because 12 months from now, people post their lives. You know what I mean? So 12 months from now, you looking at that person like, damn, you got a new whip. Damn, that's a nice ass apartment you got out there. Damn, he ain't been on that job for 8 months and he got a promotion and a raise. Damn. And you start looking back at your situation like, fuck, I've been on my job for 2 years now. These niggas ain't giving me a raise, a promotion, to shit. Damn, I'm still paying rent to this. I'm still living in this shitty ass apartment. I need a new dream, but I can't. Yo, why you hating on that person? Because he, you know what I mean, like moved to Atlanta or Charlotte and did that shit. You know what I mean? And granted, yes, there are other cities. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? But people have their reasons. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of us have our reasons, you know, of moving to, you know, Atlanta or Charlotte just because it's just Black Hollywood out there, yo. We want to be in that environment, but we see the success out there. People see the success out there. You know what I mean? People see how Atlanta is jumping, whether it's the nightlife, you know what I mean? It's life in general. You know, people see Charlotte is like, yo, it's mad Black people out here. Everybody's successful. Everybody owning homes. Everybody got their, you know what I mean, good jobs. Everybody got their, you know what I mean, benefits, whatever they got going on. You know, Charlotte is warm, it's nice. I fucks with it. You know what I'm saying? And then, I mean, there are places like DC, for example, right? Same thing. DC is like, I think DC right now might be like top 3 above Charlotte and Atlanta in the capacity of which Blacks are thriving and are becoming more successful. You know what I mean? Which is great. You know what I mean? Like Prince George County, Maryland is like one of the wealthiest counties in America. You know what I'm saying? And it's mad Black people that's moving out there right now. You know, the numbers in Prince George County right now are looking great. You know what I'm saying? Like if you pay attention to the demographics in these other cities. You know what I mean? But it's also very expensive to live out there. You know what I mean? So when people make the choices of moving to Atlanta or Charlotte especially, you know, they looking at shit like the houses, right? They looking at that house for $230,000. They're like, damn, I get all that for $230,000. But you take that same $230,000 house that's in Atlanta and you pick that joint up and you move that shit to Maryland, it doubles. That joint like $550 now, $600,000. You know what I'm saying? You take that same house that's $230,000 out of Georgia and you move it to DC. You know what I'm saying? It's like double and a half. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not getting the same value, you know, out there. So people look at that and be like, well, damn, if I move here, if I want this type of house, if this is the type of atmosphere I want to raise my kids in, you know what I mean? I don't know that I'm be able to necessarily afford this type of living that I want in DC or in Maryland. You know what I mean? But, you know, you get the same thing. You get the cheaper, you know, but the same quality of life in Atlanta or in Charlotte. You know what I'm saying? Florida too, and I'm starting to see that a lot of young Blacks are starting to make that move to Florida. You know what I mean? Tampa is one of those markets, you know what I mean, that's starting to grow, and Blacks are starting to thrive out there as well. You know what I mean? Because Tampa is one of them cities in Florida that's just starting to grow. You know what I mean? Like myself, I spent some time in Georgia. I lived in Atlanta for a little bit. You know what I mean? I went to school in Florida, so I spent 4 years in Orlando. You know what I mean? You just got to figure out, you know, what's for you. You know what I mean? What you want out of life, the type of people that you want to be around, you want to surround yourselves with, the type of atmosphere you want to be around or surround yourselves with. You know, you got to figure all that shit out. You know what I mean? And then you make your moves and your decisions based on that. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, that's just what I was thinking for the day, man. You know, I just want to, you know what I mean, put that out there, man. So y'all have a blessed one.